Hi, my name is Mark Stallard. Welcome to Little Green Man. This is part 6 in our 7-part series on the balanced budget doctrine. And we're going to go back to where we started. Right early on is the debt, the provincial debt, or the national debt, government debt. In general, is it bad? Well, David Camfield, University of Manitoba Associate Professor, says balancing the budget is not a solution because national debt can be easily managed as long as revenue remains high enough to cover the payments. Debt can mean when times are hard, there will be more infrastructure, more social services, healthier and hopeful people because of the stronger, more resilient economy. An economy that for once would favour them as well. So debt isn't a bad thing at all. It's something, if you can make the payments, there is no issue at all. The only problem in the real world with debts in the private world, whether that's business or personal, the only time debt is a problem is if you find yourself without enough money to pay the debt. The same thing is true with governments. Now, debt is actually an investment. I mean, we look at that with our houses. We go out of our way to get mortgages for our houses where we're in debt for it can be up to 25 years now. The mortgages have gone up. That's hard. The houses are becoming so expensive that we can go that far into debt, and we don't really blink an eyelid at it because we need somewhere to live. We've got to spend our money. We may as well put that money into a house. It's an investment of sorts. Now, businesses take on loans as well, and it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. Particularly business startups, they take loans if businesses want to expand and they don't have all that money up front, that they can convince the bank to lend them the money because it's an investment. It will lead to something better down the road with more income. Now, this rule applies to governments as well. Now, Mark Blythe said to the US Senate in 2015, now Mark Blythe is the Eastman Professor of Political Economy, the Watson Institute for International Studies and Brown University. And he said, debt is investment, even public debt. It is not a deadweight loss, and without it, we would never have the industries that we have today. So then how does the future look? Well, to be fair, it doesn't look good at all. Well, the next recession is right down the road. It's imminent. It's going to happen at any time. And it's going to be bad. And this isn't just me, who you might think is a bit of a left-winger. I'm actually going to be quoting from a right-winger, Charles Lamman, L-A-M-M-A-M, Director of Fiscal Studies at the Fraser Institute. So they don't get any more conservatively right-wing than the Fraser Institute. And he's been quoted in a Maclean's article, Macleans.ca. There is a note in the description. Now, nearly a decade removed from the last recession, and experts think another is imminent. This time, however, we're in a much more precarious financial situation. If we hit another economic road bump and recession happens, there's some real concern that we won't be prepared to deal with those issues, says Lamman. It's a real possibility. Now, with the housing bubble looming, and the car debt about to go, the car debt bubble about to pop, we also have a serious debt bubble from from people. So we've gone out of our way to just try to keep our standard of living at a decent height. And personal debt is also massive now, that to the point now that the majority of Canadian families, if they get a bill that's just a few $100s, I mean $500, $1,000, it would mean complete and total financial ruin for them. Not prepared for any movement at all, and it could be, and it's going to be really disastrous if and when that bubble pops, and bubbles, the very nature, will pop. There's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So then if austerity and balancing the budget that got us to this point are not the answer, well then, what is the answer? Well, you're going to have to wait for part 7 of this series. So part 7 and the final part of the Balanced Budget Doctrine here on Little Green Man. Little Green Man.